Hank Aaron was born on February 5, 1934, in Mobile, Alabama, during a time when racial segregation shaped every part of life in the American South. His family was poor, but his parents instilled discipline, faith, and hard work. As a boy, Hank would swing at bottle caps with a stick because he couldn't afford a bat and ball. That early determination became the foundation of his success. Baseball was his escape, a way to rise above the limits society placed on him. Aaron's talent quickly stood out. In high school, he joined the semi-professional Mobile Black Bears, a team in the Negro Leagues, where he played against grown men while still a teenager. He dreamed of playing in the major leagues, but segregation made that dream distant. Jackie Robinson's debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947 gave young Hank hope that change was possible. When he was offered a contract by the Indianapolis Clowns of the Negro American League in 1952, it was his first real step toward that dream. He played with energy and grace, hitting for power and average, and within months, Major League scouts took notice. The Boston Braves signed him in 1952, and Hank began his journey through the minor leagues. Even as he faced racism and hostility from fans and sometimes teammates, he never let anger consume him. He focused on his game. His consistency and calm demeanor earned him a reputation as a player who let his bat do the talking. When he finally reached the Milwaukee Braves in 1954, the 20-year-old right fielder immediately made an impact. His smooth swing and natural timing made him a threat every time he stepped to the plate. By 1957, he led the Braves to a World Series victory over the New York Yankees and was named the National League's most valuable player. America saw a young black man rising above the odds to become one of baseball's most reliable stars. Part 2. Hank Aaron's career in the 1960s was defined by consistency and excellence. While other players had peaks and declines, Aaron remained steady year after year. He hit over 30 home runs nearly every season, drove in over 100 runs regularly, and earned Gold Gloves for his defense. He wasn't flashy, and he didn't seek the spotlight, but his numbers spoke volumes. Fans and writers began to realize that Aaron was quietly building one of the greatest careers in baseball history. As his home run totals grew, people began comparing him to Babe Ruth, the legendary figure who had hit 714 home runs decades earlier. For many, Ruth's record was untouchable. But Aaron's steady climb made it clear he was on track to challenge it. The chase, however, brought something darker. As Aaron closed in on Ruth's mark, he began receiving thousands of hate letters, many filled with racial slurs and death threats. Some people couldn't stand the idea of a black man breaking one of baseball's most sacred records. Aaron endured it all with quiet strength. He never lashed out publicly, though he admitted that period was one of. During the 1960s, Hank Aaron's greatness became impossible to overlook. While the baseball world was filled with stars like Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and Roberto Clemente, Aaron quietly kept climbing the record books. He was never loud or flashy, but year after year, his numbers spoke for him. He hit over 30 home runs almost every season, drove in runs with machine-like consistency, and remained one of the best defensive right fielders in the game. His reliability made him the kind of player every manager dreamed of, a man who showed up every day and gave his best, no matter the circumstances. By the mid-1960s, Aaron had already passed the 400 home run mark, and baseball fans began whispering that he might one day challenge Babe Ruth's record of 714. To many, that record seemed sacred, unreachable. But Aaron's discipline, health, and precision at the plate made it seem possible. He didn't try to hit home runs, they simply came as a product of his perfect swing and incredible focus. What made him special wasn't just power, it was his balance and consistency. He never went through long slumps and rarely chased bad pitches. He had mastered his craft. However, as his home run totals grew, the chase for Ruth's record brought a different kind of attention. When he reached 600 home runs in 1971, the national media began to fixate on the idea that a black man might soon break one of baseball's most cherished records. For some, that was a moment to celebrate. For others, it stirred deep racism and resentment. As Aaron inched closer to Ruth, the hate mail began to pour in, hundreds of letters a day, many filled with vile threats and racist insults. Some letters said he'd be killed before he broke the record. The pressure on Aaron was immense. Every city he visited came with security guards and sleepless nights. He often stayed in separate hotels to ensure his safety. Yet, he kept playing with calm determination. He didn't lash out at his haters or use the media to defend himself. He simply kept hitting. His teammates admired his focus, saying he never seemed angry, just deeply tired of the hate. By 1973, he was sitting at 713 home runs, just one shy of tying Ruth. The weight of history was heavy, and every at-bat became a national event. Stadiums were packed, cameras followed his every move, and fans cheered with a mix of anticipation and tension. Aaron tied Ruth's record on April 4, 1974, hitting number 714 against Cincinnati. The baseball world stood still. The next home run would change history forever. He knew it was coming, but he didn't let it consume him. To Aaron, baseball was never about chasing numbers or proving others wrong. It was about love for the game, the same joy he felt swinging at bottle caps as a boy in Alabama. Still, as the 1974 season began, the world waited to see if Hank Aaron could take that one final step into immortality. On April 8, 1974, the world turned its attention to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Los Angeles Dodgers were in town, and the air buzzed with anticipation. Hank Aaron had 714 home runs, tied with Babe Ruth, and everyone knew history could be made that night. As he stepped to the plate in the fourth inning, the crowd of over 50,000 stood in tense silence. Al Downing, a left-handed pitcher for the Dodgers, delivered a fastball over the plate. Aaron's swing was smooth and effortless, the kind that had defined his entire career. The ball took off, soaring toward left center field. For a brief moment, time seemed to stop. Then it cleared the fence. Home run number 715. Babe Ruth's record had fallen. The stadium erupted in celebration. Fireworks exploded, and fans screamed with joy. Two young men ran onto the field to pat him on the back as he rounded the bases, escorted by teammates and security. When he touched home plate, his teammates lifted him, and his parents embraced him tightly. It wasn't just a record-breaking moment, it was a symbol of resilience, dignity, and triumph over racism. For years, he had carried the weight of hate mail, death threats, and unbearable pressure. That night, all of it melted away in a single swing. Aaron handled his historic moment with quiet grace. In his post-game interview, he thanked his family, his teammates, and the fans who had supported him. He didn't speak with anger or pride, he spoke with gratitude. That humility was what defined him as much as his talent. He continued playing for 2 more seasons before retiring in 1976, finishing with 755 home runs, a record that stood for more than 30 years. But for Hank Aaron, records were never the point. He wanted to be remembered as someone who played the game the right way, respected it, and gave everything he had. After retirement, Aaron stayed close to the game. He became an executive with the Atlanta Braves, helping shape future generations of players. Off the field, he became a strong voice for civil rights and equality. He used his platform to speak out against discrimination in sports and beyond, encouraging young black athletes to believe in themselves. In recognition of his contributions, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom and countless other honors. When Hank Aaron passed away in 2021, the baseball world mourned deeply. Players, fans, and leaders across generations paid tribute to his integrity, strength, and kindness. He had lived a life that transcended statistics, a life that showed how courage and humility can change history. Hank Aaron's journey wasn't just a sports story. It was the story of a man who faced hate with patience, who worked quietly until his talent spoke louder than prejudice, and who became a symbol of perseverance for millions. He started with nothing but a dream and a stick in Alabama and ended as one of the most respected figures in American history. His legacy lives not only in the numbers but in the example he set, of G.